Well, it's Psychic Hunter David Williamson, and it is Tuesday. I had to redo this. I did it. I made a mistake because I mentioned something that was wrong. It's not. It was the incorrect word. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about is the release of this energy as we conclude Pisces, which today happens at around 5 o'clock. Now, that's 5 o'clock Toronto time. The thing that's really interesting is this year Pisces, I have heard about more conclusions with people in regards to this waking dream than I've heard in a long time. And, a lot of this, I don't know, we can blame it on a million things, and I'm not going to get into the politics, but we can blame it on a lot of things. We can blame it on behavior. We can blame it on, substance. I mean, most of the people that I know that have, except for my mother died at 84 of ovarian cancer, and part of that was her own difficulties physically, and we can go on about that till we're purple too, but, you can't smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day and work in fields where you're not wearing a mask and not think you're not going to get sick, because you are. And it's like I've had a problem with my left shoulder that I thought was really serious heart, and it could still be, but I'm also thinking now, was it the cards? Was it the baker? Was it, we do these things. I was in dance. So, you start to run into trouble as you get older. So I think the thing we have to recognize is, first of all, Pisces is 12th house. Pisces, in all my 34 years doing this, is about conclusion, like it or lump it. It is the end of the winter season, that corridor of winter. It begins as of today at 5 with the spring equinox, and we move forward, and we're in Aries, and we're also in spring, which I love, and I love the whole element of spring, summer, into fall I like, but I mean, I like Christmas time. My birthday's before that, but I really, 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 Christmas and wintertime is okay. I love Christmas, but wintertime, to an extent. I love fireplaces going, which I don't have at the moment, but, I'm just not the biggest fan of plodding through snow. I mean, everybody loves it for them. Great. I think it's fantastic. I think I'd rather be in a tropical forest, to be honest with you. But anyway, so we're going to get on to focus here. So April brings about a lot this year. That won't really, resolve itself fully till next year, the end of March, because these eclipses finish. I always thought, I'd actually mistaken and thought that they ended this fall. They don't. This energy continues because the actual nodes, where the north node is in Aries. There's a lot of destiny going to play out, by the way, in April. So I just want everybody to be aware of that late March, April, during Aries, you get a lot of destiny playing out, things that are happening that are, not by accident. This is destiny, and the lead into this is destiny. So there's a lot of things happening that you could quote karmic, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's totally karmic. I would say it's destined. I would say that it's culmination of past choices and decisions, many things. So as I said, the energy changes quite quickly at 5 o'clock today. And we just have to realize that it's a very, very important transition. I've always believed spring is extremely important. A lot of the choices that you now put into play will have huge repercussion weeks and months. Obviously next week, which we'll get into in the weeklies. I'll be filming the weeklies on Thursday, Friday, for next week. The weeklies will talk more about the eclipse next week. Now that is a full lunar eclipse in Libra. And we all know, the moon is, I've always said this about the moon. The moon has a lot to do with also your emotional center. I have moon in Capricorn, as do quite a few of my friends. And, the thing that's really interesting is that I believe there's also resolution. I've always believed that the moon, to me, has to do with past lives, that there's also some past lives in issues that you're resolving. That's especially true if someone has moon in Scorpio, which both my parents have. One's alive, the other one's gone. But the thing that's really interesting is this directive going forward and how we sense and feel the energy shift and change very drastically. Mars can also cause people to get worked up, because Mars is in Pisces, which is really not as strong for, because water puts out fire. But Mars is also linked to Scorpio, which is water. I think, in all honesty, on an emotional level, we have to really be a little bit careful about the blame game in life. We can blame life, we can blame people, we can blame the universe, we can blame until we're purple. But it isn't enabling us to get beyond paddling in the pool without accepting help to get up and out of. So I think the goal here with Aries and that Mars attacks and that Mars center, that heart chakra, I'm in control, I'm going forward, I'm changing this life. This is hugely important from this afternoon onward, to really take control of your destiny. This is it. Change it. Stop perpetuating scenarios that bring about unfulfilled experience and expectation. So really start to change. It starts with the mind. It starts with creative visualization. It starts with many things to change your life and get it going. So this is an important day today, folks. This begins and it concludes. I should have said that in opposite order, but I like the beginning better. So it's release, and it's about, okay, solid commitment forward. Aries, beginning, number one, let's go, move. More Aries have won Oscars than any other sign in the zodiac. Aries is one. Betty Davis, Joan Crawford, and we could go on and on and on and on. Warren Beatty. I mean, it just goes on. So, I would say, in all fairness and all honesty, take charge of your choices in your experience. Be very focused. Start to recognize. We never forget. I have a memoriam on my fridge of all the wonderful people that have left this experience. And, it's paying attention to who they were and everything we've learned, even the things we didn't. I'm the type of person that I get angry and upset with myself after the fact, even with pets, thinking, oh my God, I got mad at the cat. You know what I'm saying? But, we have to be able to be honest to self. We have to live in the now. I'll never forget a story. I'm going to say this quickly. My mother's cousin, well, she wasn't really, she was a neighbor that they grew up with in the East End, down around what they call Leslieville now, but they called it Riverdale back in the 30s and 40s, on Queen Street. She lost a little girl, her daughter. I can't remember whether there was a fellow going to come with a pony. They used to bring a pony around in the 30s and 40s. And I really related to this woman. She was a Capricorn too, and she was an actress, and she was the one that was so good to me when my mother died. She came right up to me. She said, you keep in touch with me. And she was wonderful. And she lived a long life. But this little girl, back to the story, ran out onto the road and was killed. I think she was hit by a vehicle, something. And she said she never dealt with it until her husband came home from work, and or something happened. And someone asked about her, and she said she just collapsed. And she said it was the most horrific thing she had to get over. And you'll never know who she is, so I'm not going to discuss personal business. But I've never forgotten that story, and I think we take for granted things. And what she taught me that day, telling me that story, she was a strong Capricorn. Whew. I think she was January the 1st or the 3rd. Very strong. But she taught me about vulnerability. And she shared that story with me to teach me about vulnerability. And that, she said, I don't take things for granted. But every time you show up to her place, there was a pot of tea put on, and she'd made butter tarts. And she said, your grandmother gave me this recipe, which I have, which when I'm gone, I'm sure my ex and a few people, like my friend Audra, that are going to take care of things are going to definitely revel in. I'm going to show them how to make it first. But I've never forgot her story. She was very important. She was important to my ex and I in our home. She always showed up every Christmas, every holiday. But anyway, getting on with things. This is a beginning. So it's always in remembrance. And it is never about living in the past. And of course, moving into Aries means going forth. It is not about going backward. It is not about retracing your steps and repeating old behaviors. And, that's why I've said to a lot of my clients lately, you hear from someone in the past, wish them well. If it ended under really obscure circumstance, it's about forgivenesses, but it's not about returning. So I believe that. And I used to be the type that would say, no, I'll try to make it work. I'll do. Not anymore. Not at this age. So anyway, I wish you guys all the best. I'm working. I'm here. Today's pretty open. Today's Tuesday. It's pretty open. Tomorrow I've got bookings and I've still got room. And I'm going to be working the rest of the week and through the weekend. Remember, the full consult is $113. That's including HST. And that's on the phone or in person. And then the shorter two readings, the 40 minutes, which is $79.10, is on the phone. and as well as the short reading, the mini one, which is 30 minutes, and that is 57.60, I think. So it's $50 plus HST. House parties, minimum of 8. Do have a couple booked, which are going to be exciting, and they are minimum of 8, and they're $75 per person, and there is a maximum of 10 where the host or hostess is free, and they're the 11th. International is 100 US, payable through my website, which is pretty easy. It's all over every one of these ads, so just scroll up. And that's it. So I wish you guys all the best. Have a wonderful day. Please look forward to later. And again, around that 5 o'clock, start structuring your affirmations for 2024. Even though, yes, we're going to go through those eclipses, which will come up in future breakdowns, and these little breakdowns that I'll send out, and also the weekly, which will be up by Friday. So anyway, I wish you guys all the best. You heard it here first. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And I'm excited because I've got a few weeks left, and these adenoids and this polyp thing will hopefully be over, at least for a decade. I don't know about being in my 80s. I'm not really worried about that. I'm going to live in the now. But I wish you guys all the best. Cheers. You heard it here first.